I have been processing most of these stories for so many years in therapy and getting through it. But there's something powerful that happens when you say it out loud.
What happens when an actress decides to not just dream about her career, but actually invest in herself and take bold actions? Well, today we are spotlighting that person. Her name is Ginney Bilbray. She's an actress and a proud follower of the Acting Smarter Now podcast. And she has applied many of the strategies that we teach here and is now elevating her career to the next level. If this is your first time here, my name is Lydia Nicole. I am an actor and career coach, and this is Acting Smarter Now, where we help you break through the noise, own your craft, and transform your career from undiscovered to unstoppable. How did you find Acting Smarter Now?
Okay, so I was perusing YouTube and I was looking for things to help me break into TV land. So my background is theater, and but I needed to learn more about television, and I had taken an improv class. And then I took the Elevated Actor, which was a local workshop in my town, for a week. And we did a lot of commercial activities. And so I said, let's get into finding some information on commercials, TV, breaking into acting, all of that type of thing. And I stumbled across your channel and it changed my life.
So tell me a couple of ways it changed you as an actor.
First of all, your workbook is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I purchased your workbook. So I'm going to be using that to when I start getting on track. You have interviewed several people that have really changed me. One of them was Adilah Barnes. Yes, she was amazing. And because of your interview with her, I learned about the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. And I had recently written a one woman show, and I kind of didn't know what to do with it or where to go with it. And that interview led me to applying for Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival's Hot Off the Press event, which I got selected for, that we just did in June. So that was amazing, and I will be forever in your debt for introducing me to Adilah Barnes, who I knew from Roseanne, because I'm a big fan of that television show, but I didn't know that she was part of this remarkable team. And it was so fabulous to work with her team, and to meet other playwrights. So that was really exciting. And then you did an amazing interview with Dawn Reed. And that interview, because I was just like, how do you go about doing a one-person show? And Dawn Reed's interview, you guys got into the weeds. I loved it, and it gave me so much information. It gave me a guide to where to take it, even down to the nitty gritty on how to start memorizing a one person show. And, fortunately, when you're the writer, that helps as well. But those are just some of the ways that you and your channel has been able to help me.
Well, Ginney, first of all, thank you so much. You made me so happy when I got the notice that you had submitted to the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival and got in. So that made not my day, it made my week, because
Yay.
Acting Smarter Now is all about helping artists. As an artist, when I started out, I wish I had this channel to help me, because I learned everything that I share with you all is what I learned from Hard Knocks. In the beginning, there was nobody helping me. I had to figure things out on my own. And so for me, it's really important to be able to give the cheat sheet, so to speak, to actors and creatives to say, you know what? You don't have to do this for 20 years before you figure it out. Because that's how long it took me to figure out a lot of stuff on my journey. But I love that you not only watched the videos, but you actually implemented stuff that could help you right away. That's my goal, is to be able to give you stuff that gets you going. And I am proud of you, first of all, that you took your show, you said, you know what, I'm going to submit this. Let's see what happens. And not only did you submit it, but you got in. A lot of times artists don't know to do it, or they're afraid to do it. And your courage. I mean, I gave the information, but it was your courage to say, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to see what it is. So tell me about your show.
So my show is called A Pretty Normal Life. And it is my journey to get a pretty normal life. And I grew up in a very abusive household, and I have struggled with my mental health through the years. And I was placed on a journey that allowed me to not only experience trouble, troubles, but allowed me to persevere. And the strength in the people that I met along the way, the advice from people on the way, the help when I asked for help and went seeking help, all those amazing people. But there were so many stories that I sometimes when you grow up in a very dark childhood, you can feel very isolated. And at first, I was really hesitant to tell my stories, but I joined a writers group and I began to tell my stories, and they resonated with a lot of people. And I said, geez, if I can make a connection, if I could just bridge that gap to make somebody feel that they were not alone, then having the courage to tell my stories out loud could make a difference. So I walked it by my therapist, and she was like, hey, absolutely, tell your story. So I sat down, and in about 4 days, I had written the show. I wrote it. I wrote 75 pages, and the muses got me. They grabbed me and would not let go. And they were like, get these stories out of you. So not only was it therapeutic for me to get those stories out, I started seeing all that I had been through. And I was just like, these stories are worth telling. So I said, what do I call this? And I was just like, gosh, my journey has been seeking a pretty normal life. And so I was like, that's what I'm going to title it. So it is stories about abuse and mental health, but it is also stories about triumph. And I really wanted to spread that message that even in the darkest times, if you have faith in whatever you may believe in and in yourself, that you can get past all of those trials and tribulations and come out the shining person that you always wanted to be. And so that's the show, and I'm really excited about it. My theater mentor, Nanette Hofer, will be directing the show, and we're working with a local theater now to put it up. And I am terrified of being as vulnerable as I am. I am in a very small community in northern Arizona, but I am digging deep for that courage to tell the story, and what a relief it will be to not feel like I have secrets, because I think with secrets comes shame. And I am not ashamed of anything that I went through. I don't want to carry that. But most of all, I want to make, hopefully, if one person feels that they are not alone in their struggle, it'll be worth it. It'll be totally worth it. So yeah, that's my story.
I love it. I love your story. First of all, Bravo. Bravo to you for having the courage to just sit down and write of everything that happened to you, because as an adult child of an alcoholic, I totally get it. I have a couple of one person shows, and they deal with my childhood and not holding secrets. I was not a secret keeper as a child, so I am not a secret keeper as an adult. And so I love that, because as a child you don't know that adults are putting you in danger, that they are the
Yeah.
ones that are trying to shame you. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know that, then you spend the rest of your life with that baggage, that shame baggage. So I love that you said, I'm going to write these stories, I'm going to put it out there. And the courage that it takes is just you saying enough is enough, right? Enough is
Right.
enough. I'm just putting it
Yes.
out there. So I applaud you. It is so
Thank you.
amazing to hear your process and your story. And I want to say to you, as you get ready to do your show, I'll give you a little bit of advice here. As you get ready to do your show, just think of all the people, not one person. It's not helping one person. Everyone who comes to see your show will be transformed. I want you to see that everybody who comes to see your show will be transformed, because you will say something that will hit them in their heart. Whether they came in thinking it would or not, it doesn't matter, but you will speak to their spirit. You will say something
Yeah.
to encourage their spirit. So I just want you to know, as you get ready, as you're doing this process, enjoy it. Enjoy the discovery. Enjoy what you're learning with your director, and being okay with the steps. And if you don't feel comfortable with something, to come back to the director and say, can we try it this way? Or this doesn't fit me so well, because a one person show is a monster to work on. You have nobody to hide behind. It is you and only you on that stage. You, as the writer, have to tell your story, but you, as a performer, have to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, creating the images and the characters and all of that. You are it, you are the movie. And so you've got to find a way to be able to tell that story to feel good, so that even when you're going through something bad within the story, that you're telling us something that's so traumatic or something that's so horrifying, you, the actor, have to enjoy the process. Otherwise, it affects your psyche in a negative way, and then you get sick.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, from somebody, I have a one person show that I was doing for about 20 years. And the first 10 years, I would get sick all the time, because there was so much of trauma that I was bringing, and I hadn't really healed properly yet. And so I would get sick. I physically would get sick. I would get a cold. I would get a flu. My back would go out. I mean, all kinds of things would happen to my body. And as I started to understand, when you're doing a show, yes, you are bringing healing to other people, but you're also bringing healing to yourself. You're healing that little girl or that little boy that went through that trauma, if you're doing that type of one person show, because you can do it. There are many different types of one person shows, but when you're doing an autobiographical show, it is bringing up all those wounds, all those traumas that you went through. So you have to, as you walk through it, reassure that little girl in you that you are taking care of her, and that now you're turning something that was really horrifying into something that will help other people. Let that little girl know she is now helping other people, because she was courageous to get through it, that she now is helping other people. And I would even go as far as to say, have a little teddy bear that you have near you. So when the little girl starts to get scared or hyperventilate or what, however your body um, starts to show the panic, that you can grab onto that teddy bear and reassure that little girl in you that it's okay. And I tell you, it will make all the difference. It will make all the difference in your performance and what you do, because you're not that little girl anymore, but that little girl is still in you. How do you heal that part of you while you are wanting to help heal other people? That's really important. It's really important. So, and because you're at the beginning of your journey, you don't want to have any missteps that will shut you down and put your show away for many years before you get the courage to bring it back out, or, or say, no, I don't ever want to touch that. So if you can walk through it every day that you are in rehearsal, every day that you are reading through the script and you are making your changes, because the other thing about a one person show is there's a lot of rewrites. There are rewrites to rewrites to rewrites, right? And so as you're rewriting it, bring all the love you can to that little girl in you. Bring all the love. If that means after the rehearsal, you go and you treat her to a little toy, you treat her to an ice cream cone, you treat her to a favorite meal. Do things to love on yourself in that way. It really will help you, will make a difference, and it will make the show even that much better because you're not experiencing the trauma. What we don't understand as solo performers, sometimes when we are sharing something so difficult, is that we're transparent and people can see the trauma in us, and that disturbs them. They don't know that it disturbs them, but they know, oh my God, there's something wrong. So if you're telling the story, but embrace that little girl, love on her, and share it with the director. This memory just came up, or this thing just came up, so that maybe the director can help you process it in a more healing kind of way. Your story is you want to be normal. Mine's was I wanted to have the TV family that I saw all the time. I wanted the Brady Bunch. I wanted, all those TV shows where everybody was fabulous. That's what I was looking for. So that's what I would share with you.
That is amazing advice. I have to tell you, and you probably experienced it too. I have been processing most of these stories for so many years in therapy and getting through it. But there's something powerful that happens when you say it out loud.
And you say it in a room to strangers.
Yes.
It's not just out loud.
Yes.
But you say
Yes.
it in a room to strangers because part of you is saying, oh my God, they're judging me. Oh my God. And there's that wanting to hide. But you can't. You have to go, this is what happened.
I decided to do a local Arizona Stories That Matter event at a local theater here. And I did one of my stories that I actually cut from the play, just to kind of, I had been doing it in workshops, but I hadn't done it in front of a live audience of people that I had no connection with, really. So I did a story. It was called The Weight of the World, and it was my experiencing being a plus size body in the world, and how that affected my mental health and that type of thing. And once I was shaking when I got on stage, because I was like, this is very vulnerable what I'm about to tell these 100 people that have showed up to hear stories. And I did it, and the moment that it was finished, there was like this peace that came over me, and I was like, oh, that is so amazing. But then when the show finished, all of these women started walking up to me, telling me about their journey and how the story resonated with them. And I was just like, for one moment, I was like, God, am I doing the right thing? And then when you get feedback like that, you're just like, I am on the right path. this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But that speaking out loud, the stories that you wrote in your living room on a computer, just to speak them out loud, and just in rehearsals, speaking them in front of Nanette, my director. There's been times when I was just like, I have to stop. I'm feeling very vulnerable. Let me ground myself or find a technique to now get a teddy bear and just hug on it and just say, hey, I just need a moment, and then reground and do things like that, and just take care of my inner child, because she went through a lot, just like you, and it takes some time. But I was thinking that I couldn't have done this show 10 years ago. I wouldn't have been in the place mentally or emotionally to do that. But now, after all the work that I have put in, I finally feel like now's the time. So I'm really grateful to get to hopefully put it on at the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. They have a festival in March every year. So I didn't get to meet the timeline because of some requirements for the show. So next year we will be putting in, and the more people that I can share the story with, I think the more healing that will happen with me personally. But I hope that the healing of some audience members, like you said.
If you can boil down what your show is about and then find organizations that can connect to the show. Like if your show is about cancer, to connect with
Mm-hmm.
a cancer society. Find those nonprofits that connect with what your show is about. This is for anybody watching, because then you get a built-in audience. You can offer the show to them as a fundraiser and say, hey, I would like to give you the show for a weekend. And I just need, we'll split the door. So I need to pay my director. I need to pay my light and sound person, whatever your base costs are that you have to pay the theater or whatever, but then you get everything else. And that really does help. And all I need from you is to send everybody on your mailing list our show and say it's for this weekend of, the weekend of October or December, whatever it is. And that allows you to start getting an audience. Word of mouth starts going out, and people start saying, oh, I saw this show, Ginney. Oh my God, this Ginney Bilbray girl, she was amazing. So as you're doing that, start thinking about what nonprofits you can align your show with that really will be of service to both of you. You want it to be a win-win. It is something to be. We're the artist, we're the writer, but we're also the marketer. So when you're doing a one person show, you have to cover all of that. You're the producer, you're the writer, you're the actor, but you're also the publicist and the marketer. So how do you do that? The other thing I would say to you is to get pieces of it, and while you're getting it ready for the theater, find places that you could take individual pieces to, like community centers or old folks homes, or high schools that have theater department, and say, I would love to be able to do a piece for your theater. For me, when I was workshopping my show early on, I did it in high schools, I did it in youth prisons, because it was about kids. And so I took it to as many places as I could, pieces of it, to see how it would play with this audience and that audience. And so it really will help you. It also gets you out there. And then you can say, hey, we're going to do the whole show this month of so and so. It's a good way to get yourself out there. And the other thing is, record your process, record your rehearsals, record your doing it in other places, just the little pieces, because once you have that, you can then use that for social media to put little clips of. You can put together a little reel to say, hey, last week I took the show to several places. Here's a sample of where I went, where I, and maybe have somebody who can go with you, who can record you entering the facility, leaving, talking to people before and after. That gives you a lot of b-roll to play with. So, and you can also maybe find students in colleges where there are film programs, that, because then they'll get a credit for helping you with your video of it.
That is great advice. And I happen to work at a college that does have a film media program. So, yeah, so I will reach out to them. That's great advice. I didn't think about having a lot of B roll. I was just so focused on making sure we filmed the performance because I needed a copy of the actual performance. But that is great advice.
You're also documenting this journey, because it's not going to
Yeah.
stop at this theater. The goal, I hope, for you is to take it across the country, is to be able to take it to different places. So if you can start creating a B-roll now, you're going to have so much footage to choose from. And if you can connect with maybe two college kids who can be your interns, maybe one does the camera, one does the editing, you are helping them come into the business, so to speak, because you don't realize it, but you're now in the business.
Yes, I
You're
am.
doing a show that makes you in the business. So it's a win-win for everybody. It helps you, you're building your team. It's not just about, well, I got a show and I put it up. First of all, you want to put the show up, and then you want to figure out what's the next, where's it going to go next, because it's a lot of work to put up a show. A lot of work.
Yes.
And then it only runs for a month, and then it's done. And now you got to start. Think of it like a plane. Having a one person show is like an airplane. Once you get it up off the ground, you don't want to keep having to, take it back to ground. You want to be able to fly that plane. So learn everything you can about this run, and then think in terms of, okay, this is what I learned, this is what I got, this is what I did. Now I would like to be able to take it to 3 theaters, maybe on the West Coast. Let me see who does one person shows. Speaking of Don Reed, the Marsh in Berkeley, I interviewed the artistic director and owner of that. So watch that video to get some ideas. She is phenomenal. Her name is Stephanie. She is amazing. I love her a lot. And she gives really great information from the side of a theater owner and the artistic director. So that'll give you insight as when you get ready. She also talks about, having an audience. Don't expect the theater to have an audience for you, because they will not. They're booking
Right.
you, they're charging you for the space. It's up to you to bring in the people. And if you can start with this run, get local press, people covering your show, so that you can start building an electronic press kit with it. Because all of that works together for you to get to the next theater. It's not just enough to have the footage. You want to have testimonials of audience who have seen the show, to say, have your film person, your camera person waiting at the end of the show to say, what did you think of Ginney in the show? What was your favorite part? Now you're creating a testimonial reel. And that will really help you a lot. It'll help you to take your plane and fly it longer.
Yeah.
That use this to get all of that stuff. So then you can look up maybe 5, 10 theaters that focus on solo shows, focus on women's issues. And then you put your package together and you submit it, because the goal would be to have a little tour that you do. So you go from theater to theater. Like I'm doing this theater in January. I'm doing this theater in February. I'm doing this theater in March. And so now your show is going to go, and the more you do the show, the more fluid you are as a performer, because a one person show, when you're doing it live, it's different every night. Every night it is different. If you have characters that you do, you never have the same character running the show. They are fighting for position. I'm telling you that. I wish someone had told me that when I started doing my one person show, because I would be amazed. I was like, but last night this character was the main character. Tonight this character is the main character. It's like they just pop up. It's like when you are doing it, and once you have them in your body, they fight for position. It is the most amazing thing I've seen. And not just for myself, I've worked with other actors who were doing one person shows that I've helped. And it's the same thing. It is different. And I've gone to see the best one person shows, and I've gone to see the worst one person shows. And what I have found with the best one person shows is that the actor just lets it be whatever it's going to be that night. There is no controlling it. You have your mark, you know what you're going to do, but the magic shows up because it's live, it's fluid, it's moving. The worst thing you can do as a performer in a one person show is to do it the same every night. You do the same thing. Yes, you have the same blocking, but you got to let those characters breathe and live. And if you're working in San Francisco of 1 week, and then you're working in Austin the next week, you're in a different space. You got to let that character kind of get a sense of that space. You're bringing the world with you, but you also, as the performer, know you're in a different space. So all of that factors in, so just stuff I give you so that you're just being open. Just be open to the process.
I think that that's imperative. I'm going in as a novice, so I am so open to not just advice, but watching and meeting people like you, listening to people like Sarah Jones and Don Reed talk about their process in the solo show world, because it is very unique. Not being able to depend on anybody else but yourself to get you through to the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. Through advice from my director, I am getting outside acting training because we're always learning. So I'm going to the Hood School of Acting out of Ohio with Jessica Hood. I just took their Meisner training class, and so I'm going to continue with that. So it's interesting because as the show progresses, my determination to grow as an actor, as they meet, it's becoming quite magical. Yeah, but it's a lot of hard work, and I didn't want to kid myself that it was going to be a very easy road doing a one person show, because I've listened to testimony from folks doing it. Also, the physical demands, not just the emotional demand, but the physical demand of doing a 70 to 90-minute show by yourself. So those are all things that I've been learning from your channel, from other channels, and the interview processes. So I didn't want to stay in a bubble.
And your diet is important. It's because
Yes.
when you're on stage, and I learned this the hard way, I used to bring a big thing of Coca-Cola on stage with me when I was performing. And halfway through the show, I was worn out because I was having that sugar drop, right? I was crashing
Yeah.
from the sugar. And I had a director who shared with me that what I wanted was to create a concoction of hot water, cayenne pepper, lemon, and maple syrup, and bring that on the stage with me and drink that, because maple syrup you don't crash, and it keeps your energy up.
Yeah.
And the foods that you eat before to not to have heavy carbs. Make sure that you're
Yeah.
eating stuff that keeps you alert, because you're on that stage, you're exuding a lot of energy. And so if you have a good workout in the morning, and you sleep well, you'll be all right. Something else I wanted to share with you. Have you watched Elaine Stritch's Live at the Liberty?
It's on my list and I haven't seen it yet.
So that should be the next thing you see, because she is a master. She does her show so masterfully. She was almost 80 years old when she did that show. Her energy was phenomenal, and she was diabetic and she was getting insulin shots every day. But when she came on stage, she was magical. And so that is one of my top one person shows that I suggest every solo performer watch. That it is a must, because she's so masterful. And I saw her live when she was in Los Angeles 4 times, do her show. And every night it was different. Every night it was amazing, because first of all, she was a consummate actress. She was a theater animal. And so she knew how to work the audience. She knew how to captivate the audience. And just watching it, and I still watch it. I still will watch it just to give me incentive. That and I've watched and I continue to watch Richard Pryor's specials, because he is a one-man show. Even though it's
For sure.
stand-up, he's a one-man show. So I would say to
I
you,
totally
the
agree.
two of them are exceptional performers in their own right, not for you to copy, but for it to inspire you to say, oh, I can do this. Oh, that's interesting. And the last thing I want to share with you regarding that, and then I'll ask you another question, is I love that you're taking acting classes. I also would suggest you find an acting coach who can go through the show with you, to give you the beats, to show you where to do it. The director helping you is one thing, but having a coach really helping you, uh, yes, you lived that life, and yes, you did that, but it's a different process when you're performing it. It's totally different. So if you have a really great acting coach who can walk you through this, the scenes and the beats of it, you're going to be phenomenal. I love that you're doing the Meisner technique, which is amazing. It's a great it's a great technique to help actors anchor themselves. It's a great foundation, but you also need a coach.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because my director has been my acting coach for the last couple of years. She has a double master's. So thank you for mentioning that to people who are listening, because not only did she help me with the editing process for the show, she's also able to coach me and direct me. So I hit the jackpot with my friendship with Nanette. And together, I think that we're doing it. But I did want some outside help, just a second voice, which is why I went to the Hood School of Acting. And I'm just getting that second voice, the second opinions, those different techniques to bring. So I have something to bring to the table as well.
Interviews that I've done that I would recommend you to watch. Well, actually, I have a couple, but the two that I'm thinking of is you should watch my interview with Ivana Chubbuck, who is one of the premier acting teachers.
I did see the interview with Ivana Chubbuck, and I did actually apply to her studio, and I'm actually on the wait list for her studio.
Excellent.
So yeah, but I got into the Hood School of Acting right away. I didn't want to wait. So yeah, the Chubbuck technique is one that I am reading the Power of the Actor right now, along with Sam Meisner's book, and yeah, she is a powerhouse.
Yes. Sandy
Yeah,
Meisner's book is great as well.
yeah.
Also, I don't know if you got to watch it, but Robert Townsend's interview, because we talk about his one man show. We talk about his career as as an actor, filmmaker, and comedian, but we delve into the one man show, because he too has learned that it is a different kind of animal. And so, and his show is brilliant, but that might give you some incentive, because that's another really great interview. So tell me, as you are on your journey as an artist, as an actress, what is it about what you have taken away from the interviews that you've watched or the techniques that I've shared that have made you stand in your center more? Like that you feel like, yes, I can do this. I got this.
Well, one of the things that you talked about in one of your videos was the practice of being centered. And we all say, oh, I feel centered. But practicing that in high stress situations or high emotional situations, I really, really like that you said that the centeredness takes practice. It's mindfulness, but it's also practice. You also said in one of your techniques to meet people with calmness. And, I'm a kind of person where I'm like, hey, all right, like trying to bring all the energy that the entire room needs. I have done that since I was a kid. I have always done that. But as an adult, I started to recognize that there's something that happens when you meet people with a calmness. And it to stop taking the responsibility of being the biggest thing in the room. There's not necessary. It's not necessary. You can meet people and you can learn more with that centeredness and that bit of calmness. So those are two of the things that I've taken away from your videos, that I was just like, those are things that got put on my goal list to work on. And patience. My Lord, do I need to work on patience? Because a one woman show does not happen overnight. It does not happen. It's been a process. I've been working on revisions since June, creating a website, creating business cards, creating the editing, putting in for copyright, creating an LLC. All of these things that I've learned just from watching your channel has been instrumental to me having a direction, because for a long time I did makeup and wig design for theater. But like acting and breaking into theater and the two film and TV, there was the secrecy around it for so long. And unless you knew somebody who knew something, that you weren't able to. So when I have a channel like yours or some of the other channels that I watch, I'm just like, thank you for sharing the insider scoop. That's what I need. I needed like some direction. I live in a small town in Arizona. I'm not privy to a lot of that information. So I think the biggest impact to me with the social media, things like YouTube, is exposure to that type of knowledge, because everything was secret. I feel that everything was a secret so long. Just techniques with hair and makeup, it was such a secret for such a long time. You were just like, how do you get the perfect cat eye, or how do you do contouring like this, and all those things. So as you can see behind me, all of these books that I have purchased that helped me with acting, that's helped me with learning how to do wig design and makeup design and that type of thing. But a lot of times you feel siloed, where you're just like, when you're in a small town, you feel siloed, where you're just like, is this technique the right technique? So branching out has been one of the best advice that I can give. There's no reason for anyone to do it on their own. There's so much information now available. And if you listen, if you take notes, if you glean information from this person, a little information from here, a little information from here, I think you can start your path. And that's what I've done.
Absolutely. Two things from what you just said. Register your script with the Writers Guild, WGA.org.
Okay.
Register it along with copyright. A registration is good because you want to be in the game. You put your stuff at the, and it's, I think maybe 25-30 bucks to register it. So register your script. We live in a wonderful time right now where, first of all, YouTube is a fantastic place to get any information you need, especially if you're an actor. The SAG Foundation is a great channel to get information from casting directors and all kind. And then SAGAFTRA.org also has a YouTube channel that they give a lot of great information. So there's no reason why actors, whether you live in a small town or you live in a big city, you still have access, the same access to information. Don't think just because you don't know anybody in the industry, or you have a desire but you don't know anything, that is going to keep you from getting what you need. The big thing is just being able to ask the right questions. At the end of the day, you want to ask the right questions. How do I get there? What do I do? How do I start to show up? And I will give a little plug for AI. I have a couple of favorite AI platforms that I love and that I use. Perplexity.ai is great for research. It is Wikipedia on steroids. ChatGPT is another great resource, as is Claude AI. And then I would say, as an actor, if you want to work, you should have an IMDb Pro account so you can know who people in the business are. So if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hi, Ginney, I saw your play. I thought it was great. I'm a producer. My name is Lydia Nicole." You can actually go, Lydia Nicole, and look me up on IMDb Pro and see, is she really who she says she is? Because a lot of people will tell you they do stuff, but then they have no footprint. There's nothing on them. So they're telling you they're these experts, or they're telling you that they're this big honcho in Hollywood or New York or Chicago, but there's nothing on them. So as an artist, you want to research people. You want to be able to look them up and see, okay, are they for real? Who is this person? Because people will tell you all kind of nonsense, especially when you're doing a show. After the show, you have people that are coming up to you. "Oh, Ginney, I thought it was great. I would love to produce your show and take it to Broadway and do that." So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself, And so Perplexity.ai, my friend. And then IMDb Pro, my other friend.
I love that. Because I'm a librarian by day, actor by night, I really value research. I have found it to be extraordinarily helpful in my journey as just a human being, trying to learn as much as they can about everything. So I love that you offer examples of technology that can help people on their way. Just getting a Canva account and being able to edit reels and being able just to do small things like that. I think that we live in an extraordinary time where you can really, if you don't know how to use something, there is somebody on a platform that will teach you how to use that software or to teach you how to use that AI. I think we live in extraordinary times.
You're not a librarian by day. You're an artist who works as a
Oh,
librarian.
thank
You are
you.
an artist.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want you to let that come out of your mouth. I'm an artist, and I do this, and
I'm
I
an
do
artist.
this, and I do this, because you do makeup, you do hair, you do wigs. You are an artist you're expressing yourself in a lot of ways. And and going back to what we were talking about earlier in the conversation about shame, sometimes people will try to shame you because you do different things, because you, as an artist, you wear different hats. And so to stand in your center proud and say, "Well, I'm an artist and I do this and I love this and I love that, and I'm curious, and so I love this," because it sometimes you will have people come and try to diminish you because of your vast experience, your vast talents, your vast gifts. I to me, artists are the most amazing people on the planet because they are the closest people to God. They like God. God is the big creator. We are the little creators. I'm not being sacrilegious here. I'm just stating a fact. God has put in us the ability to create, and our job is to create and not apologize for it, not diminish it, not act like it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. If you're an artist, you are a big deal.
I love that. And the one other thing, I talked about aging a lot with my actor friends and stuff, and with my fellow artists. We talk a lot about aging in the field, and there was, I'm not going to even say there was a hesitation for me, at the age that I am. Do I do I take the leap of faith and go and do a one woman show? Should I even, is this even a realm of possibility? And then I had some really awesome conversations with myself. And then I started seeing like little videos, little social media posts of, people, hey, I didn't start acting until I was 65, or I didn't start acting until then, or I didn't, go try and do my dream until I was in my 40s. And I really love that message came to me when I needed it.
First of all, you're never too late. You're never too old to be an actor, ever. I went a couple years ago, I went to Madrid and I saw a one woman show, and this woman was 82, 83 years old doing a show. It was, you're never too old. Never too old.
I love that.
That's the lie that we're told. Oh, it's too late for you. You're too old for this. You're too fat for this. You're too skinny for this. You're too short for this. No, it is, you are enough at whatever age you are, whatever shape you are, whatever your sexual preference is. You're always enough. And as artists, we have to own that we are enough, because we look at everybody else, especially on social media. Oh, look, they're doing it. No, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
I love that. I love that, the message is starting to come through, that people, that you are enough. That's such a powerful message. Diana, who I was teaching my last acting course, at the end of every class, she let everyone, she ended with that message, that you are enough. And I am believing it. I am believing it. And it took me a while to feel that way, but I am looking for the clues. I am looking for the quiet messages being sent to me. And I'm also looking inside, that when I talk about my show, and being a working actor, there's a peace that comes over me, that I know that that's the right direction I'm supposed to go. So I hope people are listening to, able to stay calm and grounded enough to hear that voice that's telling you to do your gift. Share your gift with the world. It's the greatest thing you can do.
And really own the fact that you are not an imposter. When you are learning, when you are going through process, that is the number one thing that comes to attack you. You're an imposter. You are never an imposter. Learning and walking in process, like anything else, it's a learning curve. We're learning it. You talked about patience. I don't think it's about patience. I think it is about um, believing that process is important. And in order for us to get better, we have to do process and how to enjoy it, instead of, oh, I have to do this. No, I get to do this as an artist. I get to discover stuff. Process is all about discovering, you know. And
Mm.
if you listen to artists who've been doing it, actors, directors, whatever, doing it for a long time, they're always discussing process, and they're always learning. The greats are always discovering. You are in
Yes.
good company, discovering and learning. And I'm going to tell you this, and you can, in a year I will ask you the question. But What you learn now is going to be different with your show than what you learn a year from now with your show. It's going to continue to grow because you are growing. You know, you're going to, how your show turns out this time that you stand it up is going to be way different than how it turns out next year when you do it at the Women's Theater Festival. It's going to be a different animal. It just is. It's there's a scripture in the Bible that God talks about giving manna to the Israelites as they're going through the desert every day. He gave them manna. It was fresh every day. It was new every day. He told the people never to hold on to the manna. Let it go because he was going to provide new every day. And those that held on to it, the next day when they looked at it, it was all rancid. It was not good. God, being the creator, always wants to give us new things. Always wants to give us new dreams, new things to show up with. That's not to say you don't perfect what you have, but always be open for the fresh manna. Always be open for the new thing that's coming. When you, again, I'll stress this again because it is so important. When you are doing a one-person show, every night it is new. There are mistakes that happens. The audience may speak out. You may have somebody heckle you. You may have people, or you had 3 performances where everybody was quiet. And then the 4th performance, people are laughing and laughing and laughing. You never know how that audience is going to respond to the material. I've had Black audiences that would laugh at stuff, and then I've had white audiences that would go, "Oh my God, that is terrible." Everybody, it's different, and so you cannot expect it to go the same. Every audience is different. They bring their own energy into the room, and you as a performer cannot rely on their energy. You are the trained conductor. You tell them. My favorite thing to say is, you are the thermostat, not the thermometer. Your job is not to take the temperature, but to set the temperature. This is something I learned from stand-up, that if you went on stage, when I would go on stage and stand up and I wanted the audience to like me, they hated me. It was like sharks in the water. They smelt the blood and they were not having me at all. But when I went on stage, confident, centered, sure of myself, and just showing up to have fun, I could do no wrong. The audience loved me. But if I walked on stage doubting or kind of like, oh, I'm feeling like an imposter, whatever negative thing I was carrying on in my head, the audience picked up on it and they mirrored it back to me. Yes, you are an imposter. Yes, you are not good. Yes. So you got to bring all of you onto the stage every night. Bring God with you on the stage and say, let's do this. We're a team. Let's do this. You gave me this ability. Let's go. And not, you want to embrace the audience, but you don't want to let the audience dictate to you, because that's death. Having the audience tell you your worth. You are worthy. Your play is worthy. What you're doing is worthy. And you might have people who don't like it. That's their problem. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing. They might have had a bad day at work. They might have gotten served cold food at the restaurant. Anything could happen to them. So they're coming in with that state of mind. You cannot let them dictate how you are going to be on stage. You have to show up in your glory. And this is the gift. Every show, you cook? Do you cook? Are you a cook?
I do.
Okay, so let's talk about it like cooking. When you're cooking for friends, you want everything to be delicious and wonderful, right? And you're planning the best meal. So That's what we do when we're doing one person show. We're planning out the best meal. We're putting out the best food we can for them. Now, if they eat it or not has nothing to do with us. But the process of preparing the meal, that has everything to do with us. The process of us preparing the show has everything to do with us. And so we put out the best show possible. However they receive it, that's their problem. They either get the gift or they don't, but we did our part. So when you are doing your show, just know you're doing your part. That is it. That is it.
I love that.
You owe them
I love
nothing. You owe them nothing. They get what they paid for, which was you giving them an excellent show, you making sure that you are alive and present in the show, and you're ending it by saying thank you. That's it. That's it. Not, oh, I'm nervous. What? Because nervous is about us. The show is about them. So why am I can be excited. I'm excited. I'm getting ready to do my show, but being nervous is selfish. It's about me. Oh my God. And I didn't hit that line. No, I want to be of service. So I'm doing this show to be of service. I'm giving you, when I cook, I know I'm cooking good food. You can't tell me I'm cooking good food. And that's how I do it with acting. I know I'm giving you good food. Now, you don't have to like it, or you can tell me, you know what? I don't eat chicken. I'm a vegetarian. Oh, okay. All right. Next time I'll make something for the vegetarian, but I'm not going to walk away going, oh my God, I should have made a vegetarian. No, this was the menu. You knew when you were coming, this was the menu. So I'm not apologizing for you not saying something before. They're coming to see your show. That's the menu. Not tailoring it for them. They're coming because they saw the menu. You know, it's like saying, let's go eat Chinese. And then you get there and you go, well, what I wanted was Cuban food. Well, honey, we're at a Chinese restaurant. There's no Cuban food unless you go to the Cuban Chinese restaurant in New York. There's none here in LA. Sorry. It's like, that's not your business. And as an actor, we have to know what's not our business. And we have to be the thermostat. Whether you're auditioning, whether you are promoting, you are the thermostat. Be careful not to go anywhere when you're not centered, because then you do become the thermometer. Then you're paying it. Did they like me? Did they not like me? And that's because we're out of sorts. We're not focused. We're not centered. That's why I talk about practicing your center. So no matter where you go to, you're not thrown off. It's because you got to be a good improv a good improv person. You have to be willing. If someone throws something at you, you got to be able to bounce it back and not go, I don't know what to do. That's part of the audition process. When a director gives you direction after you've interviewed, after you've done your audition, they may like you a lot, and now they want to see how quick are you to take their direction. And you can't go, well, I didn't prepare that way. I can't do it that way. That they're not going to hire you. They're going, oh my God, this person had a meltdown and we didn't even get through the audition. They want to be able to see how you volley the ball back. And being an actor, you got to be agile. You have to be flexible. If the actor that's working with you says the wrong line, you can't stop and go, well, he said the wrong. You better figure something out and keep it going. And if the audience doesn't react to you the way you want them to, you got to keep going. You got to, you can call it out and say, oh, that didn't work, huh? But let's go on. But you got to take control of the situation without being controlling. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And that sounds like that's going to take practice. So anybody listening, that takes practice. Being centered takes practice. Being calm takes practice. all of it takes practice.
Not being discouraged when you fall.
Yeah, not beating yourself up if you weren't perfect. It's okay. It's okay. We're all humans and we're all learning.
Well, we're never going to be perfect. We just have to be okay, knowing that we are enough. The beauty of the one person show is that mistakes are going to happen.
Sure.
And some mistakes bring magic with it. Be open to that.
Yes.
Some mistakes bring magic. Be open to it. Instead of beating yourself up, instead of feeling like you failed, go, oh, wow, that, because it's still all part of discovery. It's all part of discovery.
I love that.
I love that you got on this call with me. Thank you so much. This was such a treat. And any last words you have for the viewer regarding Acting Smarter Now?
Watch it, listen, take notes, get the workbook. All of it is going to help you bring it all together. You need a little bit of this, a little bit of that for the perfect recipe. You need a little this, little that, little this. But if you watch this podcast, Lydia, you are a fount of knowledge. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and your gifts. And everybody out there listening, just be a sponge and soak it up, because there is so much to learn.
And thank you for being a great student. Thank you for taking the information and running with it. I am so proud of you. I can't wait to see what you do with this show. I can't wait to come and see it live. I am so very proud of you. That's it for today's episode of Acting Smarter Now. I want to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, because we need your support. And if you really like Acting Smarter Now, buy me a coffee. It keeps me going. Don't go anywhere, because coming up, we got another great episode filled with tools to help take your career from undiscovered to unstoppable.